Okay, I'm not wearing any underwear right now, and I'm running out of daylight, but I recently got back from this music festival called Form, and it's in Arcosanti, Arizona, and I just wanted to share some things about my experience. Form Festival, Arcosanti, Arizona. For 3 days, you are hot, sweaty, exhausted, and you're probably going to get a collective 6 hours of sleep during the whole festival. I have been to, festival. Did I just say festival? You mean tens, hundreds of thousands of people, overlapping sets, overcrowded spaces, overloaded with corporate sponsorships, and little room not really allowing for depth of communication or connection. Is that what a festival is now? Is that what people have in their heads when they think of a music festival? I've been to so many concerts and I've had experiences at festivals, and this is a very, very different kind of music festival, if we want to call it that. There's no VIP, there's no overlapping sets, and there's only 2,500 tickets sold. Only 2,500 people max are going to be there. And I've been to so many shows where you meet someone at a concert and you're friends for only an hour or 2 hours, and then you never see this person ever again. When I was in Arcosanti, I kept running into some people, and I kept running into them again and again, and it really allowed for some real organic connection. I just really want to show you the map. I'll probably overlay it. So it's all within walking distance. Everything is within walking distance. The biggest festival I have honestly been to was, I don't even remember. Wow, whoa, okay, I went to a festival in February and Hozier was playing with Macklemore, and I literally forgot the name of that festival. But there was about 30,000 people there, and trying to get from point A to point B was a nightmare. Here, if you want to get anywhere, it's literally a 2 to 5 minute walk. There's camping, and it was all camping. There was no car camping, it was all tent camping. There were some people who stayed in RVs, but there was camping and glamping, and that's all it was. Good morning. Look at all those campers. Look at all them happy campers. I want to talk more about my experience. So, camping. This festival took place during the fall, and sometimes it takes place in the spring. Mind you, they haven't done this festival in 5 years. 5 years, it's been a long time. And in the fall, it was really hot. I live here in Tucson, Arizona, and I was even hot there. It got cold at night, it got into the 60s, so you may have wanted a light sweater, but camping, so you brought your own stuff. Thankfully, there was a shuttle that would bring your camping gear from up the hill. There's a hill, so up the hill to down a hill, and then you had to walk yourself down and then pick up your stuff and then find a campsite, which I thought was very helpful. There were some people who wished that there was a shuttle to go up and down the hill. Listen, it's a short walk. It's a short walk. You can do it. You're fit enough to do it. It's a high elevation desert, and you need to drink a lot of water if you're going to be out there. I know some people did talk about that, but I mean, you have to realize where you're going to be if you're at a music festival. Arcosanti is at a bit of a higher elevation. I want to say 3,000 feet, very dry, and people were drinking alcohol, and that's a recipe for just some massive dehydration. So if you are going to go to Form Festival, just drink water. I was downing, no kidding, 2 gallons a day. No joke. This was the most unique music festival I've ever been to. It was small, it was intimate, I've never camped at a music festival before, honestly. I think that form would be like the new standard for what a music festival is, or what a music festival could be. I don't think I would ever want to go to Coachella. Honestly, the lineups after 2017 aren't even good, but Coachella, you know, as an example for just a very large music festival, it's very crowded, it's very cramped, you're waiting hours and hours, everything's so overpriced and expensive. If you want to see an artist, you probably have to get to the front first thing in the morning. You're gonna have to stay there for like 12 hours if you want to get up front and get a good viewing area of the headliner. And who wants to ever go through that? Who wants to go through that? Who wants to be that miserable at a music festival, at something that is supposed to be celebrated, something that should be celebrating music and should be celebrating the artists? One of the unique experiences that I went to was called the Discogs Listening Room. Thanks for putting this on, Jen. And there was speakers all around the room, and it was a very immersive sound experience. And I was friends with David, who played the vinyls, and his fiancée Jen, and I got pretty close to Jen, and we talked a lot about music. We talked a lot about how music should be appreciated, and I really enjoyed how David celebrated vinyl, and he seemed very intentional about all the songs that he chose, and the setting inside of that listening room just felt very inviting. Another thing I want to talk about is discovery of music. Another kind of music festivals that I am very happy to have been a part of was this music festival in Boise, Idaho, and it's called Tree Fort Music Fest. And it felt intimate, it felt small, there were still a lot of people. That also set the standard of what I think a music festival should be. I remember being at Tree Fort. There were so many bikes, and the whole city was just so amazing, and Idaho of all places too. And I think that there should be a lot of inspiration taken from these honestly smaller music festivals, and they should be taken into the local city and really celebrating community and celebrating art and celebrating individuality and expression. I think that's something that people of all ages, and especially the youth of America, or youth of the world, it really craves. So, discovery of music. So, headliners for this music festival. Actually, I printed this out and I left this at home. I meant to bring it with me. Anyways, you have people like Fortet, Beck, Floating Points, Jamie XX, Bonobo, Fifi, Empress of, Mustafa, Skrillex, Barry Can't Swim, Dylan Brady, James Blake, Thundercat, St. Vincent. Those were the people who were here this year. I personally came to Form to see Skrillex and Jamie XX. Actually, I should tell the story about how I got these tickets. I had no idea Form existed. I was perusing around Spotify, and I saw that Jamie XX was playing in this place called Arcosanti, and I've heard of Arcosanti. I've seen some things online before as this really unique architectural landscape, and I thought, maybe I'll go someday. I'm part of a philosopher's poetry group chat. It's called Salon, and someone wasn't able to go, and they had 2 tickets to go to Form, and I raised my hand. I said, I want to go. So I got one of the tickets, and I was just very blessed about how this sort of came to me. I didn't really have anything going on during the weekend, and I just thought, yeah, let's go to this music festival and this architectural place, see what it's all about. I did some research on it. Only 2,500 people were there. I was like, wow, is that a lot of people? Is that not a lot of people? Like 100 people, you know everyone. 3,000 people plus, it might be a bit much. I feel like 2,500 is perfect. I would say cap it at 2,000, maybe. I think that the idea of no VIP is amazing because everyone's on the same playing field. I've seen this before. I hate when people flash their VIP like lanyards around, or their platinum tickets, or they're looking at everyone in their fancy cabana. I know what that's like. I've been on the GA side. I've also been on that VIP side. I think everyone on the same playing field allows for more deeper connection. I think that's the point of this festival, was just to allow an opportunity just to bump into people and keep bumping into people and keep bumping into people. And I really enjoyed that because I made some very deep connections. I made some good friends, and I want these connections to actually last. And there was two people, and they're from Santa Barbara. And they said, if you ever come to Santa Barbara, you have a place to stay. And they genuinely meant that. And I said the same thing to them. If you ever come to Tucson, I don't know why, but if you ever come to Tucson, you have a place to stay. And something like that is it's very nice. And a world where trying to find true deep connection is difficult. And the architecture and the whole project, the urban laboratory that Arcosanti is, really promotes that. And they're really trying to promote their idea of what urban planning can be. And I think, well, what better way to showcase architecture and community and of what people could live like. What's the best way to do that other than maybe a music festival? So some past people that have been at Forum Festival, some of them were like Snail Mail, Vagabond, Florence and the Machine, Charlie XX. By the way, Charlie XX mentions Arcosanti. I actually watched her set at Forum. She mentioned Arcosanti in her new album with the Brat album, with the remix extension. I want to talk about some pros and cons. Actually, I want to take this to Instagram of some pros and cons. Roaming, directionless, and absent of intent was sometimes the best way to discover the true beauty of Forum, which returned to Arcosanti, Arizona on October 4th through 6th. Article by David Sikorski. Nestled amid the stark beauty of the Sonoran Desert lies Arcosanti, an experimental urban utopia designed by visionary architect Paolo Soleri. I hope I said that right. Located roughly an hour north of Phoenix, Arizona, the remote, futuristic eco-city drew roughly 2,500 attendees to the long-awaited return of Forum. First launched in 2014, the 3-day music event became immediately beloved for transcending the typical festival experience. As modern festivals continue to compete in a grueling live events industry, fighting to stay relevant while competing to be credited for the best synchronized drone show, or which dance stage has more LED screens, Forum rebels against the status quo by cultivating the meaningful connections between musicians and fans. And when it comes time for the music, there are no VIP sections or even artist backstage tents, just musicians walking amongst fans, equally admiring the architectural marvel of the property. And when it's time to perform, the small stone amphitheater sets the stage for a community of present-minded individuals to sharing a cohesive moment. No frills, just music. After a 5-year hiatus, the festival returned even stronger this past weekend with a genre-blending lineup of killer acts, including Jamie XX, St. Vincent, Bonobo, Skrillex, Thundercat, James Blake, and more. Walking into Arcosanti is like stepping onto a movie set from a dystopian sci-fi flick. Brutalist concrete structures, bathed and baked in the Arizona sun, create a visually arresting contrast from the typical major music festival experience. But even after tickets for this year's Forum sold out in less than 24 hours after the announcement of its return, the boutique festival never lost sight of the key elements that made it so beloved in the first place. Here are some 10 takeaways from the event. Stage dive into sustainability. You think about urban planning. I have some notes. There are some things I really want to share. Right now, about half of all humans on Earth live in cities, and in the next 30 years, that's likely to jump to 80%. 80% of all humans in the Earth are going to live in cities. What does this mean in terms of sustainability? What does this mean in terms of energy uses, water management? How much space do we actually need to take up? Do we all need to live in large houses with a yard? Can there be maybe some community things? One thing I really appreciated about Forum Festival was that they really worked on getting local vendors. Actually, there's this purple tree acai bowl place. They actually recognized me because I go to the Rito Park farmers market on Sundays in Tucson, and somehow they recognized me, which is like, how does that happen? This is from the article. Locally sourced food trucks like the Tamale Shop and the Phoenix Culinary Collective offered up delicious and eco-friendly sustenance, while readily available water refill stations and a robust compost system minimized waste. The full event execution demonstrated a step in the right direction for the industry and was a tangible reminder that eco-consciousness and a great time can go hand in hand. Just, wow. I haven't made a video in a while, and I don't know how this is going to look like when I edit it, and I hope that this is within 10 minutes, and I don't know how much I'm going to ramble, how much I'm going to add and edit, but, this is also from the article, but Forum Arcosanti, it just wasn't about the music. Although, of course, it was definitely a major highlight. Workshops on sustainable living, art installations scattered throughout the arcology, a poolside dance party, ambient outdoor sound stages, and hi-fi vinyl listening experiences offered loads to do beyond the music stages. It was, once again, a festival that encouraged a sense of exploration and childlike wonder. Big hit on that exploration part. At its core, roaming, directionless, and absent of intent was sometimes the best way to discover the true beauty of form. The map isn't that big. There's the Foundry, you could check that out, which is where they make the bells. There's Apps, which is where their quote-unquote smallest stage was. They had some light shows there. There's Vaults, which is their quote-unquote main stage. There was honestly two sort of main stages. There was Vaults, which holds the most people, and then there was the amphitheater, which was just, oh my god, it was just amazing just to see people, and everyone was just so close, and it just felt so real. It felt so real and genuine, and I'm trying to put words to this, really. Look at this. Look at my hair. Look at me. Last day of Arcosanti. And I thoroughly enjoyed that pool. That pool was amazing. It felt so good. It was I was so hot and sweaty, and you get in that pool and it's like 60 degrees. Actually, there's a photo I want to share that they posted on their Instagram, that Forum put on their Instagram, and I'm just floating next to this giant pink flamingo, and I'm just sort of like talking to myself, just kind of laughing, just absorbing everything, just realizing how amazing it all is. Then there was that Discogs listening room. I really liked that. I really did like that. And another thing that there was an envelope immersive listening space that was also just north of the food courts, and it was like a circle. There was like a circle of speakers, and when you're in there, you're just so immersed in the sound, and it completely changed the way I listened to music. I didn't realize it would touch me or move me as much, but it did. And I remember there was a specific song someone played. Oh my gosh, I need to find that now. I believe it was Caitlin Aurelia Smith did a live set there, and she played a song, and I had my hammock out. I was outside of that circle, but I was in my hammock, and that music just really spoke to me, and I had a moment of synesthesia. And this one song, I closed my eyes, and this one song played, and I just felt so golden, and I felt so warm and golden. I was overlooking just the landscape of Arizona, and I can't believe that this is a place I used to want to leave so badly, but I'm here, and I love Arizona, and I'm really changing my attitude towards the desert. And when you're experiencing things like this, after a while, one of two things happen. Either you go to sleep from the outside world and you say, life is great, I'm going to watch the sunset, I'm going to have my mind blown and write poetry, and I'm going to keep going on with my life. Or you can feel a responsibility to share this with the outside world, and I feel like this is my attempt at doing so. And as someone who grew up in the suburbs in America, in San Diego, and in the Midwest, and Sioux City, Iowa, and then growing up in Indio, California, where my backyard was essentially the Empire Polo Fields, which is where Coachella is, and Palm Desert, and growing up in the foothills of Palm Desert, growing up in the Midwest, growing up in those places, to recently in my 20s, purposefully living downtown. I'm in a high-rise, one-bedroom apartment here in downtown Tucson. I live downtown in Boise, Idaho, trying to be in the middle of everything. I still find it difficult to find connection, to find true, deep connection in even me as an extroverted person. Maybe this is the first video you'll watch of me, and you realize you see me and you think, this person's really outgoing, this person's very energetic. I even struggle to find that connection because I go from point A to point B in a car, and I take up this massive amount of space in this Subaru SUV I drive, and I mean, it's great, I can put my camping stuff in it, but why can't I bike from point A to point B? Why can't there be better infrastructure about that? I was in DC recently, and that changed the way I look at urban planning too. And there's all these little things about community and art and expression. What do we owe our friends? What needs to change in urban planning, architecture, usage of natural resources, dare I say, politics, to essentially move consciousness forward? I have a Chapel Roan dance party to go to tonight, and it's really dark. Wow, I hope that you watched this video to the end. Thank you for sticking with us to this video, and yeah. Okay.